Guys, stressful. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know. I'm just popping into my channel on my phone so I can follow along with comments. Looks good. Hey, there I am. Excellent. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for waiting. Oh my gosh. So I started updating my computer like literally 90 minutes, almost 2 hours ago. Crazy. And it was still going at like right before 4 o'clock. I'm like, come on. And it hit 100% at 4 o'clock. And then it needed to restart. I'm like, oh, fine. So I hit the restart button because it won't let you do anything until you restart. So I restarted, and then it had to do all these other installations. It just kept going and going and going. And 15 minutes later, again, and here I am. And then everything was reset, and I had to do all these other things. I was just like, holy crap. So, but here I am. Hey, so you're welcome, Susie. I hope you guys have all gotten your cards. And because I didn't get any back in the mail, so I'm assuming they're all making their way out to you guys, and that you are enjoying them. I was so glad to send them to you, and thank you guys for following along and hanging out and waiting for me today, especially. Oh my goodness. Okay, so today again, like seriously, running with scissors. I am working on some new ideas for how I want running with scissors to go in the future. I just need to like get into the groove with it. So today I didn't have any projects set, but I wanted to share with you guys a project that I've been meaning to work on because I've been doing it for a long time, but I needed to do some catch up, and I thought you guys would enjoy seeing how this works. And it's about paper swatching, color swatching my inks. And so I have this rule that when I get new colors, whether they're inks or watercolors, that I swatch them. And it's kind of to help me figure out what colors that I have and how they match papers that I have, because I have lots of different brands now. And I wasn't like, when you look at a dye ink and an ink pad, you don't really know what color it is. And when you look at a watercolor brush in here, like you don't really know what color that's going to be. So I started swatching out all of my inks, and I wanted to share with you guys today the products that I use and how I do it and all that kind of stuff. So Teresa, it does seem like a lot of trouble. You will see how many things that I have swatched, and you're just gonna be like, holy cow, that's a lot of time. The good thing is that it's kind of mindless. I had a little bit of ink on my hand. It's a little bit of mindless work. So like once you have it set up, you can just kind of do it in front of the TV when you have spare time. You don't feel like crafting, or maybe you've gotten some new products in and you want to go ahead and do them up as swatches or whatever. I find it very helpful in the end to do it this way. And I have a few different ways that I do it, and I will show you all of those. So let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you again for hanging out and waiting for me. Hello, Roberta. Let's see. Sue got her cards today. Oh, you're welcome, Sue. Happy birthday. Let's see. And you want to case the card? Yeah, go ahead and case the card with the plaid background and the flower. If you post it out on social media, just give me a little shout out so I can give you a good thumbs up or a heart or whatever, wherever you may be posting it. And I'd appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to flip down. Okay, let's see what we've got going on here. I don't know. Okay, good. Everything was all kind of set up funky, and I had to do all sorts of adjusting and all sorts of things. So Nancy, you totally didn't miss anything. I was late too because I had to do some updates on my computer, and they just kept going and going and going, and I got stuck, and so I was late too. Okay, so this is the first thing that I started doing. Oh, let me, I pulled out some stuff. Let's see. Oh, here they are. Okay. So this was the first thing that I started doing when I started getting new inks. So like all of these are the ink colors of my Altenew ink pads. So like Rubelite and Just Green, Ultramarine. Okay, so I have all of them swatched out so I can see what the color looks like. And then because they're dye inks, I know that I can stamp them one on top of the other. And so like if I want to see like what Hunter Green and Evening Gray look like together, I would stamp Hunter Green here and then Evening Gray on top of it, and then stamp the two small ones with those two separate colors. So that way I knew what it looked like. So I have all of my Altenew. These are all my Altenews, all done. So if I ever really need to know what a color looks like, I can look it up. Super easy. And then I have my dye inks. I watercolored with some of them. And let's see. I don't remember. Let me see. Pigment inks, yeah, liquid watercolors. So basically, like when I got a re-inker, I did some watercoloring. So this is on watercolor cardstock. I did some watercoloring with it. And this was kind of really an important thing because I came to realize, especially when I was working with the greens and with the blacks, that funny things happen when you start mixing them or start like removing color. So there was like a lot of brown undertones in this green. I don't know that you guys can see that really well. But it really occurred to me that black is kind of a crazy color. So like sometimes black, like tuxedo black, when you watercolor with it, it stays black, which is really nice. Obsidian black pigment ink you can't watercolor with. Permanent black you can't watercolor with. Let's see, tuxedo black. I don't know that I saved any samples of them because I was like, oh, I can't watercolor with those. But I tried doing like, let's see, I don't think I have one. Okay, I tried the black ink from Altenew and even the gray inks from Altenew. Like if you're using an ink pad as a watercolor, which I do a lot. I take the little cube and I put it on my palette and I'll watercolor with it, right? And it the colors were splitting. So like a lot of times the gray colors were splitting into like pinks and browns, and the blacks would split into purples and greens and things like that. Have you ever seen that happen before? So I thought it was really important for me to swatch my blacks and then to try them out as a watercolor and only save the ones that really watercolored well, like tuxedo black actually watercolors really well. But I would never watercolor with my jet black Altenew because when I do, it splits, the color splits and you end up with funky colors and it just doesn't work right. So same thing with some of the grays from Altenew when you're using the ink pad to try and watercolor with. And then the greens even. So like these greens, if I watercolor with them, there's a chance that they might split into more of a brown and a green. So it's a good exercise for me to understand ink properties. It's kind of geeky, I know. Okay, so then I started getting into like my watercolors. So these are like the liquid watercolors, these, okay. And I realized the other day that I didn't have the tropical Fiesta set done. So I started working on those and I'll show you. I'll finish those up with you guys today. But these are the other ones, and see how, I mean, they're really beautiful. So when you're doing a watercolor, what you do down in this second section here is you start it with the full strength and then you let it go into a lighter shade. So that way you know what it looks like when you add more water to it. Okay, so I've got my watercolors in here. I have my 32 pan set. And this is important because you see how this one is kind of grainy. Not all watercolors are like that. And perhaps you don't want that look when you're doing watercoloring. So I would try to steer away from these colors if I didn't want to have a granulated look to my project. I would use my artist pan because those are more smooth. They don't have the granulation. So yeah, so I just started going through and doing like my distress inks. I have my distress inks stamped. And then I also have my distress inks watercolored because these are really great for watercoloring with. So I do this every time I get new inks, my Distress Oxides, and then Distress Oxides watercolored. This was interesting too, because just like when you stamp with it and you spray it with water, of course, you start to get that chalky finish on it. So if you have like a black outline underneath and you watercolor over it, you know that it's going to cover up that outline. So those are all just kind of like little important observations. Like look at the oxidation on this burlap. Isn't that crazy? So just some observations that I make when I'm doing these. It's kind of important to like picking out colors and stuff when I'm working on projects. And then in the back here, I go into some of my Sukaneko products. So like Memento, Delicata. Did you know you can watercolor with Delicata ink? If you smush it onto your onto a palette or something, you can use it to watercolor with, and it's really, really pretty. And let's see what else do I have in here. My Brilliance, the Brilliance pads, you can watercolor with those as well. Versa Magic, you can both stamp and watercolor with. Versa Color, you can stamp and watercolor with. Stays On, of course, is just stays on. You can't do anything but stamp with that because it's a solvent. And then VersaFine and VersaFine Clear, you can't watercolor with that either, but you certainly can stamp all those pretty colors. So this was kind of like my first foray into swatching. And I use, so these little setups here, I use the Waffle Flower swatch sets. So it comes with this big color swatches set. You can get the dies. I didn't need the dies for what I do. It comes with this big swatching set, and then you can get this little one here that you can use for stamping. So I use these for all of these, and I actually did like some stamp surgery to pull apart just like 3 of these off the top. Yeah, 3 of these off the top. I just cut them off so that way I could set up my own little swatch deal. And then I use this little piece here and this piece here. I haven't really used much of the rest of this, but it's been super helpful. And I love that Waffle Flower has these super thoughtful products for swatching. So that's one. And then I also have this other one that is used for ink blending. And this is called, or color combos. So this is their color combos set. And so you can use it to like ink your different colors in here, or to do like gradients. And then you can write in here what the gradient is, like if you're doing blends from oxides and things, or you can stamp in your colors and things like that too. So I use this one, and I will show you what I use this one for in a second here. Okay. So all sorts of fun swatching things. Let's see, all sorts of good questions. Yeah, exactly, Susie. So you appreciate and swatch all your colors, and then you really know, like if you have holes in any colors, like maybe you don't have blues that you're looking for and things like that. So, so yeah, swatching I find is a really helpful exercise, and it helps you to understand how you can mix and match colors to create other colors, which I'm going to show you with the watercolors. It's very cool. Teresa, way back, and I don't think I have the video up anymore. I had done a video about different blacks. I did a short video for Imagine Crafts on black. And I don't know if it's on my channel or if it's just on the Imagine Craft channel. It might just be on the Imagine Craft channel. That was really good about different blacks. But yeah, I know, right? How many blacks do you need? Well, they all do such different things. Like, is it archival? Is it a dye ink? Is it a pigment ink? Will it work with watercolors, or will it just bleed when you watercolor with it? Does it work with alcohol inks? Yeah, you need to have lots of different blacks for sure. It's kind of crazy. But when you think about it, it's good to have different other colors, because sometimes you don't want to do just a black outline, right? If you do a different colored outline, then you can use it for watercoloring as well. So like last week when I was showing you guys, I did that not last week, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago when I did the little popsicles. I did it in, I stamped it in VersaFine Claire. I think I did it was this pink color in here. Where'd you go? The charming pink, maybe. I can't remember which pink it was. It was the brighter pink. I don't remember which one it is though. But I stamped in this, and then I was able to watercolor over it. So you end up with a pink outline. So it almost looks like no line watercoloring, right? It's kind of cool. Is there a die for these, Ms. Tamp? No. So I started off making these using my envelope builder or my envelope punch board. And I can show you how I did that. But I also have a cut file now that I use with my silhouette to just cut out a whole bunch of them at once, because I usually go through so many of them at a sitting that it's easier for me to just cut them out instead of standing there and punching them out individually. But they're kind of like almost business card size. They're 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And then I used my punch board. I use my envelope punch board if you have one of these. So I use the envelope punch board to get this little notch on this side. I just bring it out to the 3.5 inch mark and notch it. And then to get the rounded edge, I use the back side of my punch board. So that's how I started off making these. But then I was making so many that I created a cut file. And I could share the cut file with you guys. I'll put it out on my blog, and you can get it if you want it. I find it to be a convenient size. I mean, there's a ton of different ways that you can do swatches. Oh, let me show you another one. Okay, so I did this one for Altenew for the Academy class that I did. And this is a really interesting approach too. So yes, Teresa, I will share it for you guys. I will, after today, I will update the description of this video with a link to it, and I'll put it out on my blog for you guys to grab. Okay, so this is another thing that you can do. So this is the Altenew colors, and it's like a paint swatch book. Isn't it so cute? So these are all the different color families from Altenew. And basically, I use the Soho Kotoa stamp set to stamp the triangles in each of the 4 colors. And then I put the name of the color. And then this is the name of the group. So this is the Gentleman Gray group. And then, as you can see, I punched a hole in here. And okay, so why did I punch a hole? Because if I want to know if Silver Lake looks good with something, then I can put the hole over it and see how it's going to match. Smart, yes. Do you like that? So like if I want to see how it's going to look with pale, or if it's going to look with like puffy heart or purple wine. So yeah, totally cute. And then I just punched a hole at the bottom, and I made this little cover for it. This was really hard to get on here because it had to go through, oh, and see, it already broke through. It had to go through those 2 holes like that. But yeah, super cute. And actually has to go this way. Here we go. So this is all my Altenews. If I want to match them this way. Typically though, I do like, I'll just take the 2 and I'll hold them up to each other like this. And this is close enough for me to see how they're going to look together. But this is another option if you want to see your colors like paint chips. Fun, yeah? Okay. Let's see. So storage organizer. This storage organizer, this was an Amazon find. I have lots of clear acrylic boxes. I'll put a link out for this. It's nice. They'll stack on top of each other if you have something shorter in here. And I have like 3 of them. So, oh, and if you want to see something really crazy, I do swatch out my paper too. So I just, every time I get a new color of paper, I swatch it out, and then I do a little label with the company name and the name of the color. Again, so if I'm working on a project and I need to match colors, it's easier to grab them from my color swatches here than it is to pull out a whole sheet of paper every time, right? And then I even have my specialty papers in here, like on my mirror paper and all that fun stuff. And then if it's, I have a little section back here called out of stock. So if I don't have it anymore, I put it back here in the out of stock. And then if I want to reorder it, I know I need to come back here and grab it. And then I do have all my Stampin' Up! Colors still, because I do some, I did this little color coordinator thing. So I kept all the colors just as a reference for that. And then I keep all my blanks for my swatches back here, because this obviously isn't full yet. My craft room does not have any windows in it. So I don't really worry about them fading. So it'll be interesting to see over time. I mean, I've done a lot of these. It's been over a year that I did a lot of these, and I haven't really noticed any fading of the colors. So because it's in a room without windows, I'm not too concerned about fading. So yeah. It's a cave. I have the door right here, and then there's windows out there, but there's no direct sunlight in this room for sure. So, okay. So there is that. And let me show you. Okay, so I'll set this aside because I think we're done looking at that. Okay, so these cards are the Tropical Fiesta watercolor brush markers. These were on sale earlier this week for like 50% off. I hope you got them if you didn't already have them. So someone was asking, actually it was Heidi, she was asking if she should get them. I said, yes, you should get them because they're 50% off. But I wanted to show you guys so then how I do this. So like for this one here, I kind of like to make sure that I name them in the same way. Okay. So this one here is Purple Wine. And then I just put in here Liquid WC for their liquid watercolor. And then I put the brand down here. All right. So I already did the mass tone, which is just this color in here, not diluted at all. All right. So I just fill that in. Very easy. And then over here, I'll start the same process. So I fill this in here with the non-diluted color. And then I pull it out into this area over here. And it comes all the way out to about there. So this area over here is for testing purposes, and it coordinates with these little symbols down here. All right. And then over here, I just take some water. So this is just a brush with just clean water on it. And I'll go ahead and start to just spread that out and see how light I can get it. And get that to fade a little bit. So that way you can see the gradation that you can get with this particular color. All right. So then you have to let it dry a little bit. And once it's dry, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to stamp a second. Here, let me show you a sample here. Oh, you know what? I could do it on one of these because I haven't done this yet. Okay. So let me show you a finished one. Do I have a finished one? Yes, I do. Okay, so this is what a finished one looks like. I'll stamp the black line again, and basically that tells me if it is T, transparent, okay? And if I can see the black line that I stamped second equally to the line that was here that I was stamped first, then it's completely transparent, meaning that you can see colors through it. All right. So an example of a non-transparent one would be like this Versa Magic. You see how that shimmer color kind of makes it not so black anymore. That means that it's semi-transparent. So I color in the T part way to say it's semi-transparent. If it was completely transparent or completely opaque, you wouldn't be able to see this first black line at all, and you would fill in the whole thing. So that would be like, acrylic paints, or sometimes when you're working with the distress oxides, like here's one that's almost, you see how covered that black is. So these are all like really good principles to know when you're using these particular colors. And I'm sure that I have some that are like completely completely opaque. I just can't think of one off the top of my head. All right, so that's the T. The G stands for granularity, and that's if you see, if it looks gritty. So like I showed you with the 36 pan set, you see how this is got kind of, it's not even, and it leaves like it gets in between the little ridges here on the paper and everything. That's granularity. So that G should actually be like colored in because it's granular. All right. So like that. And then the S stands for staining. And staining means that when you put down water after it's dried, can you lift it up and get back to white paper underneath? So this one is partially staining because it leaves some green behind, even though you can pick up quite a bit of it. And this one is partially staining. And then this one was completely staining because I couldn't get the color to come up off the paper at all. So when you think about watercoloring, and if you let a project dry, if you're going to come back to it and you want to be able to lift the color off again to rework a section, if you use something that's completely staining, you might not be able to lift up the color on a mistake or to blend something. So it's important to know the staining properties of, especially for watercolors. So you can see I'm just adding some water to this Sea Breeze swatch here to see how much of it I can pull up. And then I just dab it with the paper towel. And without it like balling up, pilling and things like that. So this I would say is partially staining because I was able to get some of the blue off, but not all of it. Right, so then I would go ahead and fill in my partial staining. So this one still needs to go back and get stamped. And then the last one here is for light fastness, and that's how well it will stand up to being in direct sun, basically. And the way that you would do that is you would set up a test and actually put it in a full sun window and let it sit there for, a week, a month, even longer, and see. You would cover half of it up so that it wouldn't get any sun, and then the other half would get sun. And then after that predetermined amount of time, you'd see if you get any fading, and that indicates light fastness. I'm personally not too concerned about light fastness because I'm doing cards. If I was painting, then I'd be concerned about light fastness. And a lot of times companies, excuse me, I don't know what that noise was. It was kind of scary. Anyway, light fastness is usually something that's provided by the company if you're using like serious watercolors. So anyway, my favorite watercolor brush is these brushes. I have a whole set of them. They're called Transon, and I got them from Amazon. I like them because they are they're actual hair. They're goat hair brushes. They're not synthetic. So they get a lot of water in them, and they keep a lot of water, and then they just have a really good weight to them. And I have these linked down in the description. You can get these on Amazon for a reasonable price too, which is super nice. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so what I was working on today is another little project on swatching, and this is more about color blending, and I thought you guys would really enjoy watching this come to life. So I created this little book here, and it's got a cover and everything, but I made a grid so that I could swatch out my watercolors and see how many colors I can get from a set of watercolors. And this is actually mixed media paper so that it's a little more lightweight. So it's this Transon mixed media, and it's only 98 pound, right? And I cut it down to 8.5 by 14. So it's legal size basically. And I can run it through my printer that way. So I was able to get it on the back, and see it's heavy enough that I can do it on both sides and not get any bleed through. So that's what I kind of liked about this. So basically what I did while I was waiting for my computer to update was I took my watercolor brush markers, the Tropical Fiesta set, and I labeled across the top and down the side. And of course you skip the first square here because you need to make a grid. All right. And then I've got all my colors here, and they're all in the same order. And I have a palette here and some clean water. Right. And I've already made some really super cool discoveries. So one of my favorite colors so far is this Desert Night. Look at how gorgeous this blue is. So this is a combination of Desert Night and purple wine. And it makes this gorgeous shade of blue, or even turquoise and purple wine makes this beautiful purple. And I've been really surprised by some of the colors that I've seen so far. So what will happen is, as I work my way down the angle here, these are going to be like these colors. So this is purple wine. And then this block here is crimson. And what I'm doing going down is I'm diluting the color to see what they look like when they're light. And then these colors are what they look like when they're full strength. So this is a really, I don't know. I think I kind of like this better than swatching because I get to see all these really pretty colors come to life. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I've been doing this. So I am on Sunkissed, which means I'm actually not going to use purple wine or crimson again. I've already done those two. So we won't actually go back into those. So Sunkissed, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means I need to put down, I'm going to use my palette here. Hope you guys can see that enough. Yes. Okay, great. And I'm going to put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 drops of Sunkissed. And then I'm going to do 1 drop of each of the next colors right next to it. So this is Fresh Lemon and Sweet Leaf. And I'm keeping these all in order. This is when it pays to be like very methodical. And then this is Lime. Come on, just a drop. Go. It's okay that they mix together because they're going to mix together anyway. And then Turquoise. And Desert Night. And I'm trying to make these little drops of color like the same size. And that was Paper Bag. And then the last one is Lava Rock. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush here, and I've got this paper towel. All right, so just get my brush damp, and I'm going to go into this bottom one here was just the plain Sunkissed, and I'm going to fill in half of it. Eventually I will put like the line down the middle, and then I'll do the lighter color on the bottom. All right, so that's just plain old Sunkissed. It's a really pretty orange. So now let's see what Sunkissed and Fresh Lemon looks like. Kind of the same. Sometimes that happens. They look very similar to each other. All right, so clean off my brush, wipe it off so that it's just damp. I don't want to be adding any extra water because I want to see what it looks like full strength. Okay, so then this is Sweet Leaf and Sunkissed. Now, You're going to say, why do you want to mix this together? Because you might get a really cool shade of something. And look, I got a really interesting shade of brownish green, kind of like an olive drab. And I might use that on a project for like leaves and things like that. All right. Next one is lime and sun-kissed. So I'll probably get another greenish shade, maybe a brown. Let's find out. Okay, kind of more of a sepia brown. Really pretty, actually. Okay, so sun-kissed and turquoise. Another funky green. Okay, sun-kissed and desert night. Not holding my breath on this one. I'm sure it's going to be like another black looking color. Ooh, actually, it's a really, really pretty navy. It probably looks really black to you guys, but it's a super, really super pretty navy. Okay, so paper bag and sun-kissed should just get me a different shade of brown. Pretty. And then sun-kissed and lava rock. Lava rock's more of a gray, so this is just going to get me like a muted orange. All right. So that's the full strength row. Then when I come down the column, I'm just going to take, this is just plain old water. I just like it in a dropper for control. So I'm going to put 1 drop of water on each of these. And that's enough to get me like a diluted idea. So the sun-kissed, then diluted. I'm going to break up that line a little bit there. Can be a really soft orange. All right, and then again into the fresh lemon. These look really, really similar when they're blended together. And sweet leaf. Oops. And lime. And turquoise. And desert night. I hope you get to see a little bit more of this color here. Yeah. And then paper bag. And lava rock. Okay, so out of this one, the real winner, I think, was the mix with Desert Night, because this blue in real life is like unbelievable, but you can see it here. Look at how pretty that is. So who would have thought that mixing Sun-Kissed and Desert Night together would get you this really cool shade of blue? Yeah. Okay. So you're spot on, Ms. Tamp. This is the perfect way to study color. And I need to grab a towel. Especially when you're starting reference, getting used to mixed colors and things like that. Yeah. This is something that I will come back and reference over and over and over again, because as I'm working on a project, I'm going to say, I just am looking for the perfect shade of purple. And I'm going to say, oh, look, turquoise and purple wine makes exactly what I want. And then I'll be able to mix it and go from there. So it's really nice to be able to do a sheet like this that you can keep for reference, not just when you're learning, but like forever. So that way you can always say, these are the colors that I have. You don't just have 10 colors. You have 10 times 10 colors. You have 100 colors here. So when you talk about lights and darks. So Lots and lots of really cool options. All right, so let's keep going. Fresh lemon. So now we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops. Ooh, that's kind of a big drop. All right, so done with the fresh lemon, and we'll stop popping in our other colors. So sweet leaf, this is going to make a great color, I can tell already. Oops, and lime. It's a little easier to do a project like this with the liquid watercolors because you can really control like putting a drop out at a time. Does that make sense to you guys? Versus doing like pan sets where you have to get them wet and then hope that you've grabbed the same amount of color each time. Those I would say end up being maybe a little more subjective because it depends on how much of each color you have pulled. In this instance, you're really getting, you know, basically I'm getting really close with a drop of each. Or at least I'm trying to make it look the same size as I go along. I'm trying. Okay. So fresh lemon. See how close in color fresh lemon and Sunkissed are when they're full strength? They're very similar colors. Now when you stamp them, it's totally a different story. All right, so fresh lemon and sweet leaf. We're going to get some awesome greens, guys. I'm excited about these. Okay, ready? Yeah. Okay, and then lime. This is going to get us another shade of green. Very similar. Turquoise. Right now, I feel like they're all the same. They're all the same green. They kind of all look similar. Desert Night. Okay. Ooh, this is like emerald. Very pretty. All right. Paper bag. That's a pretty brown. And Love Rock. This is a really nice golden color. It's kind of reminds me of the fall harvest ink colors. All right, so we'll water them down some more. All right, so okay, sweet leaf. And lime. I can see a difference here now that they're drying. I can start to see the difference. And turquoise. And Desert Night. Oh, yeah. Check that out. That's a really awesome color. And then paper bag. And Lava Rock. All right, so what exciting colors do we have on this one? Okay, so I like all of these greens. In real life, they're much more vibrant than what you're probably seeing, but this green right here, the Desert Night and the fresh lemon together, makes a really, really gorgeous kind of emeraldy green. And then I really like the paper bag with it. It's a nice shade of brownish yellow. And then this one down here, like kind of a harvesty yellow. See, look at what that looks like. Kind of like mustard. All right, see how, and see, it doesn't take long. Like it seems like it's going to take forever, but because you're cutting down one color each time, it takes less and less time to do it. Yeah. All right. Next up, Sweet Leaf. Sweet Leaf is not one of my favorite colors. If I put it on here, it's just not really a great shade of green in my opinion. I just don't like it. So since I already put it on here, I'm not gonna mix anymore. All right, so am I the only one that does like crazy organizing things, or is there anyone else out here that's done something similar, or you've been interested in maybe doing something like this, but just you weren't sure maybe how to get started? I'd love to know. All right. Okay, so lime. That's okay, so I totally like the shade of green better than like Sweet Leaf on its own. That's really pretty. And this is a gorgeous shade of aqua. I'm kind of a swatched fanatic, Becca. It's kind of my jam. I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed so as an artist in residence for Imagine Crafts, I've really enjoyed diving into the properties of their inks and things, and it's all very interesting to me, all the different inks that are out there and what you can do with them. It's just hitting the left brain side of me. I don't know, whatever side is the more like scientific, analytic side of the brain. Okay, so let's see if I can do this a little different. I'm just going to pull this down. Yep, that'll work. All right, let's get our lighter colors in here. So lime. All right, Teresa's not that organized yet. She says yet, though. That means that she's going to do it. Or it's on a bucket list someday. That was not expected. I don't know if that was because I didn't have a lot of ink left or what, but I did not expect to get that kind of, well, I guess it is the same. So this is really pretty. It's like an olive drab. So this is Sweet Leaf and paper bag. It made like an olive drab green, but when I did the light version, it's super, super light, like sage green. It's really cool. This one had a little bit of something else in it, so don't mind the little schmutz. All right. Okay. Yeah, Becca, I spent some time earlier this week doing some reorganization. I swear I'm going to do a craft room walkthrough soon. There were just a few little things that I still wanted to get in order before I did a big share. And I feel like I'm almost there. Okay, so we're into lime. Yeah. Okay. So, Ms. Tamp, you don't necessarily need the larger paper. It's just something that I chose to do because I have some bigger pan sets that are still going to take me like 2 sheets and 2 sheets. They're going to be huge. Um, you could do it in squares instead of in the rectangles and fit it probably on an 8.5 by 11. And all I did to create this was go into Word and I created a grid that I could print off on my paper. And I'm more than happy to share this grid too. I will put it out on my blog as well. You guys can grab it. So just like a word to the wise, I will put this out on my blog. It's going to go in my store, but it'll be free. So you'll just have to pop it in your cart and then you check out for free. I do that with a lot of little resources like printable on your own resources. And then I just do like a little donation thing. So if you want to give a little donation, you can. You don't have to. All right. I'm going to get this color down first. All right. There's our lime. Okay, so no surprise there that lime and turquoise is going to make green. Really pretty green. And this is going to be another pretty green. I really like the way that the lava rock just takes the original color and mutes it. So this is just a muted version basically of the original color. And it's just, they're really, really pretty. Really pretty. Like you could do, this is like a whole fall scene right here. All these colors, perfect for fall. So even though this is tropical Fiesta, if you mix your colors with lava rock, you can do a whole fall scene. So, right? Easy. Ah, Nancy, not like you don't have the time. Well, you know, it has to be one of those things where you feel compelled to do it. But like I said, once you get some ideas on how you want to do it, it becomes a process. And you just take some time out of each month to sit down and relax and do some swatching and get to know your colors. Okay, I'm really excited about this one. This is probably one of my favorite colors. It's like an indigo blue, kind of a greenish blue. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, see, look, I got water spread here. I'll probably be able to fix that later. Not too worried about it. All right. Yeah. Okay. So check out these muted colors. Aren't they just like, I really, really like those. Those are really rocking. And all these different dark colors in the desert night. Very, very cool. So yeah, because I was kind of thinking like going into the fall, like what colors did I have for watercoloring and things that now I know I don't even really need to buy anything. I can just use my tropical Fiestas with some lava rock. All right, turquoise. Okay, so I've been kind of messing around with how I want to do this, the original square, and I just don't think I like these last couple that I've been doing. So I'm going back to my original way. These would make great flowers. Yes, I totally agree. Also, I mean, just any kind of fall harvest kind of thing, like so wheat and yeah, all I see, when I see this, I just see fall. That's just screaming fall to me. All right. All right, so up until now, we haven't actually seen turquoise. And so you never really would have expected maybe that this is what turquoise looks like when you've seen all these other colors mixed with it, right? So that's really kind of neat how it's finally revealed what the color is. All right. So another pretty blue. Oops. There we go. Okay, so like a funky blue gray green kind of color. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. Peacock. We have peacock. I got it too close and it sucked up the water. The colored water. Whoops. Yeah, if I wasn't talking to you guys, I'd just have some TV on and it would be serene. I mean, this is just really a fun thing to do. Okay, I'm excited for this last one. Yeah. All right, so see, look at that. Beautiful, like a peacock blue. Really nice. Okay. All right, so now we're down to like the nitty gritty 3 here. Oops. It's like way too much. I'm just kind of finishing them all up. Forgot I needed that. Okay. Time to see what Desert Night really looks like. Dark. It's really dark. So I expect we're going to get some super dark black shades. So this is kind of like, I don't know, I guess kind of almost like a greenish blue. I'm just gonna finish going down this way and then I'll dilute them all at the same time and then we'll finish the row. All right, so paper bag. And then paper bag with lava rock. And then lava rock just gets the triangle. All right, so let's delete these guys. This Desert Night is super, super dark. Super dark. No, they don't stain the palette. I have some staining on the palette, and it's mostly from using other mediums, not from the brush markers. So yeah, I have like, there's some yellow stains on here, but I think that was from, I want to say maybe Distress Inks. But yeah, and this palette is just one of the medium palettes from Altenew, the plastic ones. So it's nice. It's quick and easy. All right, done. See? So in an hour, I have my whole chart done for the Tropical Fiesta set. And as soon as these are dry, I'll go ahead and like put the lines down the centers of these and then just kind of clean up the dark and the light line. But yeah, that's it. So you can see where like it could get a little arduous if you're working with like, say, the 36 pan set or, you know, a 24 pan set. But if you're just dealing with 12 or 14 colors, it doesn't take long to do something like this at all. And if you didn't want to do these, but you did these, this would be enough because you do get the actual color and then you get a whole array of colors that it will work with. All right. Awesome. So to close out today, I had a little fun idea. So, you know, I do a sketch starter, the sketch starters with Nicole that I do with Altenew. I do a challenge on my blog, Sketch Starter Challenge. And I have a new challenge up. So I thought that on Thursdays in this forum, I would do an idea for you using that particular sketch. So I don't have the sketch pulled up today because like things got all out of whack. So next week, I'll make sure that I have the sketch so we can reference it as we go. But I know what it is. It's in my head. So let me grab a piece of watercolor paper. Since we're doing watercolors, I thought that would be good. No. What I need. So this is going to be simple. I just need a sentiment set. Let's just do something from here. Okay. And some white. And scissors. Okay. So I thought since we spent all this time to doing all these fun colors that we would do the project using some of these fun color blends. So thinking about the way that the colors come together, like if I used, and let me tell you why I'm thinking this. So I'm going to sketch out the sketch. Here. So the sketch for this month, here's your card. It has a big circle and a little circle, and then the sentiment comes through the middle. That's the sketch. But it's kind of like a Venn diagram, right? So I've got this big circle and the little circle, and there's this spot in the middle here that's going to blend colors, right? So let's do something that blends really cool. So for example, if I used purple wine and turquoise, I would get that purple shade in the middle. So let's do that because that was kind of like one of the first colors we discovered was really kind of neat. So Gonna get some clean water here. Technically, simple works all the time, Sue. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to put it on here. I don't know if I'm going to use it or if I'm going to go straight into the marker. I might just go straight into the marker. But at least this way I'm prepared. Okay, so here's my thought. I'm going to make that big circle here. Some clean water and go into the purple wine. And of course, you know, it's watercolor. These don't have to be perfect circles. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And while we're waiting for it to dry, I'm just going to grab this thank you sentiment. This is Crystal Frames stamp set. And that, and that, and that. And I guess I need a black. Oh, and some ink, huh? Okay, so I'm waiting for that to dry just a hair. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment. No, don't like the way that looks. There, that's better. Okay. And we are going to just trim this out. Oh, so you know how I've been telling you guys, hey, I'm going to put all of our, you know, the little projects that I've been doing when we do like scrap days and stuff out on Instagram, and I haven't done it yet. I do have them all edited and ready to go up there. So they will go up sometime this weekend. So that's going to go in here. This is moderately dry, and I wanted it to dry a little bit because I didn't want the colors to bloom out like crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the turquoise, and that second circle is going to go right here. So the thing about like when you're doing something like that is you know that it's going to start blending right away. So as soon as I put my brush over here, it started to turn into the purple color, and I didn't want it to contaminate over here. So you definitely would want to be like cleaning your brush off. Then I get into some of just the plain turquoise and pop that in there. But now I've got this cool purple going on here in the middle. I can even blend these two together. And right, if I had really let this dry, I could have gotten a nice hard line, but I just wanted to leave it this way. All right, so give that a minute to dry. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm gonna water this down. some spatter on there. And then once this is dry, I will go ahead and pop my sentiment on there. And I've got a card that qualifies for the Sketch Starter Challenge. So I hope this encourages you guys to join the challenge. Of course, that great thing about the challenge is you can enter as many times as you want. You don't need to have a blog, a Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, nothing. You can just upload a picture and just use your name as the caption. And you can enter as many times as you like. And at the end of the month, I will pick one randomly selected winner. It has nothing to do with how well your project was executed or photographed. It's a random selection. And you could win a $15 gift certificate to Altenew. So I encourage you guys to join along with the sketch challenge. And I will, once this dries and everything, I will take a picture of this and pop it up on Instagram as well. And actually, you know what? I will pop some of these pictures down into the community tab that I have on my YouTube, so you can see it over here on YouTube as well. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed playing along with me and our watercolor swatches today. And oh yeah, the educator giveaway. Yeah, do something like this, 2 for 1. Link up for the educator giveaway and also link up for my with the sketch challenge giveaway, right? Why not? Go for it. The more you enter, the more more chances to win. Yes. So I'm so glad you guys hung out and waited for me, even though I had some technical difficulties. I'm glad that they were easy to overcome and I was able to get out here with you guys today. Anyway, if you do, I'd love to see if you guys are inspired and you put some of these together and you are out on social media, share it and tag me, Pixel Maven's Retreat. And I'd love to see what you guys do. Okay, so I am out of here because I'm hungry and I've got a ton of other projects to work on too. So, oh, Dimitri, you know what? He's not very happy with me. We've been having to give him some medicine because he doesn't like the summertime and he gets these little, what are they called? They're like little nodes. And so we have to give him medicine. He doesn't like it when I have to give him medicine. So he's hiding somewhere, I'm sure. But, you know, Iggy was down here before. I don't know where he's gone to though. Anyway, I will see you guys next Thursday. And if you have any requests for what you'd like to work on, you can always leave me a comment in this video or on any of the other social channels that you see me on. I have lots going on next week with Altenew as well. So I'll see you guys around and we'll work on something fun next week too. Okay, so have a great week. Have a great weekend. I can't believe it's already Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We're into another weekend. Holy moly. And Thursday I'll be here again before you know it. So thanks for joining me again, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.